Hi, my name is Jada Gooding, and I'm a member of the Internet Society Trinidad and Tobago chapter. In this session, we'll be talking about all the things that shape the Internet. We'll be looking at the history of the Internet governance, Internet policy principles, and the actors and stakeholder groups involved in the Internet. History of the Internet. To understand how the Internet is managed today, it is necessary to know its history. Before we get into Internet governance, let's take a step back to define what the Internet is. The Internet is a network. A network is a bunch of computers that are connected to transfer information from place to place. These connections extend all over the globe in a variety of ways, such as radio connections, copper cables, fiber optic cables, and satellite links that help transmit information from computer to computer. The Internet is one of the greatest inventions of the 1900s. Since its beginning, the Internet has changed a great deal. Advances in technology have made using the Internet quicker and easier. No longer limited to personal computers, the Internet can be accessed via mobile devices and televisions. As more and more people use the Internet, the quantity of information continues to grow. The Internet created a new environment, a complex and dynamic cyberspace. The success of the Internet is rooted in the way it was built and able to grow into an open platform for innovation and sharing of ideas. It is this openness that has defined the Internet from the outset and has enabled it to become such a strong tool for positive change through new ideas and services that make a real difference to people all around the world. In the 1960s, the US government, businesses, and colleges worked together to make a system that would let computers across the United States share information. They created an early form of the Internet called ARPANET in early 1970s. In 1971, electronic mail and even email was invented as a way to send a message from one computer to another. In the mid-1970s, many groups of computers were connected in a network. Machines, called routers, were invented to connect the networks. This is how the original ARPANET eventually grew into the Internet. In the early 1900s, hypertext was invented. Hypertext is the link between different parts of an electronic document or between different documents. Hypertext became the basis of the World Wide Web or the web. Internet governance. Let's move forward to accessibility. What is Internet governance? Internet governance is the development and application of shared principles, norms, rules, decision-making procedures, and programs that shape the evolution and use of the Internet. Internet governance should promote universal, equal opportunity, affordable, and high-quality Internet access, so it can be an effective tool for enabling human development and social inclusion. While Internet connectivity generated innovative new services, capabilities, and unprecedented forms of sharing and cooperation, it also created new forms of crime, abuse, surveillance, and social conflict. Internet governance comprises of the following issues: the running of the technical infrastructure of the Internet and the impact of the Internet on society. Therefore, Internet governance is the process whereby cyberspace participants resolve conflicts over these problems and develop a workable order. Who runs the Internet? No one person, company, organization, or government runs the Internet. The Internet itself is a globally distributed computer network comprised of many voluntary, interconnected, autonomous networks. Classification of Internet governance issues. Over the years, groups have taken varied approaches in creating Internet governance issues taxonomies. There is no universal recognized classification of Internet governance issues. Further, depending on the policy question at hand, these issues areas can overlap or otherwise interrelate depending on the context. The importance of various issues will arise and fall over time, according to global events and the policy priorities of various stakeholders, which is reflected in shifting classifications by various groups. Owing to the dynamic and ever-evolving nature of the Internet, flexibility is often acknowledged as a fundamental concept by those who have worked to introduce taxonomies of Internet governance issues. IG legal issues involve jurisdiction, labor law, cybercrime, data protection, identity, trademark, copyrights, and hacking. Internet governance development issues involve the know-how, transfer of technology, and financial support. IG economic issues involve taxation, customs, e-commerce, and consumer protection. IG security issues involve cyber attacks, privacy, and protection. IG infrastructure issues involve encryption, sockets, network layers, packet switching, and secure socket layers. IG human rights issues involve users' belief that they can post what they want, as it's their constitutional right to freedom of speech. Internet governance socio-cultural issues involve cultural values, education, and content control. Internet policy principles towards fair, open, and transparent policies, the multi-stakeholder vision. Why do we need policies? Internet governance is now an active topic of international discussion, as we have seen the rise of cybercrime, global surveillance, commercial espionage, cyber attacks, and the threats to critical government infrastructure. Over the past decade, many nations decided that they needed more control over Internet-related issues and developed policies that supported their initiatives. The matter of how the Internet is governed is a critical one. How we manage this precious global resource directly impacts our economic and social opportunities far into the future. Internet policy goals aims to maintain the security, stability, and resilience of the Internet. It must support global interoperability and an open and collaborative architecture. It should sustain permissionless innovation and widening access and allow the Internet to flourish as a dynamic yet reliable platform for limitless opportunity and innovation around the world. The three key Internet principles are access, openness, and end-to-end. Therefore, when drafting policies, it's vital to maintain these three key principles. As policies differ from nation to nation, we would look at the Internet Society's policy team core principles towards drafting public policies. The principles that guide ISOC's work are as follows. Ability to connect. The edge-dominant, end-to-end architecture of the Internet is essential to its utility as a platform for innovation, creativity, and economic opportunity. Ability to speak. The Internet is a powerful mass medium for self-expression, which depends on the ability of its users to speak freely. The ability to innovate. The remarkable growth of the Internet and the limitless variety of Internet applications follow directly from the open model of Internet connectivity and standard development. Ability to share. The many-to-many architecture of the Internet makes it a powerful tool for sharing, education, and collaboration. Ability to choose. Government regulation and the economic power of the incumbent telecommunication monopolies can delay or prevent the growth of the Internet by limiting the ability of competitors to provide new, better, cheaper, or even more innovative Internet-related services. Ability to trust. Everyone's ability to connect, speak, innovate, share, and choose depends on the Internet's ability to support trustworthy Internet working, therefore ensuring the security, reliability, and stability of increasingly critical and pervasive applications and services. Internet actors and stakeholder groups. Who plays the major role in Internet operation and activities? Who are the Internet actors and stakeholders, you may ask? Cyberspace brought together a new, highly diverse set of actors and stakeholders. The following is a list which is not complete or exhaustive, but it provides a sense of the scope and complexity of the involved actors and stakeholder groups. An actor is defined as anyone or group that utilizes the Internet, while stakeholders have an invested interest in the outcome of the Internet. In the private or business sector, the main concern was the protection of trademarks. Many companies were faced with cyber squatting and the misuse of their trademarks by individuals who were fast enough to register them first. Civil society have been the most vocal and active promoter of a multi-stakeholder approach to Internet governance. The usual criticism of civil society participation in previous multilateral forums have been a lack of proper coordination and the presence of too many, often dissonant voices. The technical community includes institutions and individuals who have developed and promoted the Internet since its inception. The technical community created the initial spirit of the Internet, based on the principles of sharing resources, open access, and opposition to government involvement in Internet regulation. The role of government in Internet governance deals with simultaneously training officials, developing policies, and actively participating in various international Internet meetings. Academics and the research community main goal in Internet governance is pushing the boundary of the unknown in Internet-related issues. International and national organizations. Under international organizations, we have domain name companies. Domain name companies include registrars and registries who sell Internet domain names. They have also been involved in the border IG policy process, with the main objective of reducing the risk of potential takeover of the Internet Corporation of Assigned Name and Numbers rule by intergovernmental organizations. Secondly, we have Internet service providers. The ISP act as a key online intermediaries, thus makes them particularly important for Internet governance. Their main involvement is on a national level in dealing with government and legal authorities. On a national level, we have telecommunication companies. They facilitate Internet traffic and run the Internet infrastructure. Locally, the main actors include companies such as Digicel and B-Mobile. Their primary interest in Internet governance is to ensure a business-friendly global environment for the development of an Internet telecommunication infrastructure. The multi-stakeholder approach as a form of Internet governance. The main aim of the multi-stakeholder processes are to promote better decision-making by ensuring that the views of the main actors concerned about the decision are heard and integrated at all stages through dialogue and consensus building. The multi-stakeholder approach allows us to protect and further develop the complex systems we rely on while allowing those systems to go on working. An example of this in action happens every year since 2016 at the Trinidad and Tobago Internet Governance Forum, an annual event where everyone who cares about the Internet's future can take part to help others learn best practices when it comes to how the Internet is governed. The importance of the multi-stakeholder approach relies solely on building trust between actors and the solution, accountability for the outcome. Secondly, multi-stakeholders decision-making is sustainable and effective. The better the inputs and the more inclusive the process, the better the outcome and their implementation. Therefore, stakeholders have a greater sense of ownership for their decisions, thus enabling them to comply with them more. The Internet Society has identified 4 attributes for successful multi-stakeholder decision-making. They are as follows. 1. Inclusiveness and transparency. 2. Collective responsibility. 3. Effective decision-making and implementation. 4. Creation through distributed and interoperable governance.